All right, welcome back to another edition of the Speakeasy Dweller podcast. Man, it's been a while since I did one of these, but not too long. It's probably been less than a month. But I don't know. Felt like my roommate's no longer here. He's often doing things for Thanksgiving vacation. But now that I have some like downtime in here where I'm just alone with myself and my thoughts, I think I should probably just record one of these so I can reflect, basically get myself some inner dialogue while also telling you guys how I'm doing today, or how I have been doing up until now. So my good old Carolina Gamecocks beat the hell out of Tennessee last week. That was definitely quite the experience to be a part of. I know my parents were up watching the game. They were congratulating. They were like, "Yeah, go Jared, go Gamecocks!" What a massive upset! I can say with confidence that we not only beat, but we dominated a top 5 ranked team in the nation. So I think that's a victory in my book. To see what we do against Clemson this week, who knows? Maybe we'll win, maybe we'll lose. I don't know. But I think here's the main topic I want to go back to. And it's sort of focusing along the lines of why exactly I'm down here in the first place. And whether, I guess, the reason why I do things a certain way it's pretty much, I think I've come to the realization that it's mostly my fault, as with many things that I've caused. It's pretty much all my fault. Let me get into details about it. I was having a conversation with some people, and we were discussing about our viewpoints on certain things, and I was talking about my viewpoints on vaping and drugs, and how I obviously don't have a really favorable view on it. And I was like, I'd be disappointed to you if I held you close to my heart, basically. If my brother or sister started doing it, if someone I knew that I was really good friends with was doing it, you get the idea. And they were like, "Oh, I think you'd be a little disappointed in most of us." And I was like, "That's fine. I don't care what you guys do with your lives. I mean, don't take it the wrong way. It's not like I don't like you or anything. Of course, I like every single one of you. It's just that you're not that important to the point where it's like, oh, start nitpicking about certain life choices and stuff like that." But it went me on a rant, because the thing that I see most in like correlating all these different cases about people using drugs is they use it as an escapism. As with most hallucinogenic drugs, they provide temporary release from reality. And it's gotten to the point in their lives where they resorted to doing drugs as a way of I don't know, how do I put it? It's a way of dealing with the problems by temporarily escaping them. Why that makes it different from my problems and my issues that have sent me to therapy, have caused me some trauma that I haven't quite recovered from, is that their issues that they constantly deal with are stuff that's completely out of their control. Whatever happens at home or other relationships and whatnot, their financial circumstances, etc., etc., etc. So the reason why they are, in my opinion, happier people than I am is because they have to deal with stuff that they themselves cannot control, and something that's just beyond their ability to what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say control, but to deal with. They just have to deal with it. Meanwhile, I'm over here dealing with problems that are pretty much of my own creation. I can guarantee you 90% of the problems that I currently suffer the consequences for are of my own creation. Like, A, B, C, and D. I don't feel like going into detail. Well, hold on. Let's see. We're gonna get back. We're getting back there. Okay. I think I fixed it. But that was a little issue that I had there for a second. Lower my volume here. But like, and I guess that's why I'm an unhappy person compared to them, and why I haven't resorted to drugs, because I never really needed to escape from something that was beyond my control. I'm able to control the reality that I have, and yet my reality is still terrible in my opinion. I don't like the circumstances that I'm in, especially when it comes to my social life when it came to high school. That was painful. It's the reason why I'm down here. It was to escape constant reminders of why I am less of a person compared to all these people. Every other single one of these people have. I need to go back. I remember when I first went to therapy. My doctor said, because I went in for a medical evaluation just to see if therapy was good and whether I needed medication or antidepressants and whatnot. And the one thing that always stuck with me with my doctor was she told me that I grew up in a very special circumstance where I had a loving family. I had healthy relationships with all my siblings. I had a healthy environment. I had a parent at home that constantly raised me. I had a stable job on my other parents' end. And I've lived a very socially privileged lifestyle. Not financially privileged, but at least on a social level, I've lived a very privileged lifestyle. And that has pretty much, unfortunately, even though that's what everyone says, it's like, hey, have a healthy family, that has actually taken its toll on my social life. Because that is pretty much like, of course, it's not like everybody says that they want to, create the happiest life for their child, create healthy relationships and whatnot. But the reality that I've sort of come to is that through that healthy experience, I have lost my ability to understand the emotions of others in a way that what's the word I'm looking for? That I don't have the ability to relate to these people, and that's why I have such polarizing views about drugs, and why their views on drugs are, a lot more lenient and more pro. It's like, yeah, go ahead, do it, because I haven't been that depressed in my life, or have had the ability to do that. I mean, hell, I could buy alcohol and I could drink it. Sorry, I can't buy alcohol, it's illegal. But I could if I went through the effort of getting a fake idea, like I know most of my class does, and I know most college freshmen do. And they drink. And I don't know what it is, but I just haven't gotten myself to do it. There's something discouraging about having to go through all that effort that doesn't make me want to do it. You feel me? But I think it's, again, I've said it once and I'll say it again, it's pretty much my fault for the reality that I'm in. And to be completely honest, winter break is just around the corner. And low-key, I'm kind of scared of going home. I'm not gonna lie. After the things I've heard and stuff from back home, what people think of me, what's happened to me in the past, couple months that's pretty much changed me as a person. I've lost friends along the way. I mean, I do my best to keep in contact with these people because I care about these people. I mean, these are the people I spent 4 years of my life with, and I care about these people. And then all of a sudden they start cutting me off, and you're like, damn. And you sort of feel smaller in a way because you're slowly losing your high school friends, not of your own will, but they're leaving you. And you're just left in the dust, and you're just supposed to cope with it. Meanwhile, you're down here, and you're making new friends, and you're hanging out with them. They pretty much know you better than your friends in high school. Because the thing is, when it came to making friends in high school, I was always held back by my past. My high school life can be divided into 3 distinct chapters, with a prologue, and a prologue, chapter 1, 2, 3, and an epilogue. It started out, I was in 8th grade, I was on top of the world. I was like, yes, this is good, I'm gonna rock high school. Got into high school, it was fun. Then I asked out a girl, and then I got cyberbullied. And that just blew everything away. All my self-confidence, all my social skills, and I was out of it for the next year. Met another girl. Me being the antisocialite I am, didn't know how to properly go about that. And it ended up being very discouraging for her, and I ended up losing a friend because of that. Mind you, we're still good friends now. I was able to make it up with her. But for the first girl that I asked out, she's still talking trash behind my back. And it's like, damn. I nothing but kind to you, and I still get treated like absolute garbage at the end of the day. And the worst part is that people are just out here still being friends with this person, like nothing happened. And they don't take it as if they think I'm overreacting. They think, oh, Jared has this trauma that I caused, 4 years ago, and he's still caught up in it. Grow up, grow a pair, and just move on. I'm sorry, but if you were on the receiving end of that, I think you'd be traumatized too. How do you think I'm supposed to react when I asked out a girl for the first time ever? For the first time ever, I built up enough confidence to ask out a girl. I don't care the fact that there was a friend zone, right? I don't care. I care about none of that. It was the fact that you sent it over to your entire friend group, and then their friend group sent it to everyone else in the grade. So when I walked into school, what was supposed to be just a one-on-one thing turned out everybody knew. And for the next 6 months of my life, I was bullied for it. Do you know what that does to a guy? That drives him insane. And I know you guys know it too. Because when I didn't go to school because I had to help out my dad with moving sheetrock, I got 10 different numbers that day asking me if I killed myself. You guys knew I was depressed, and you guys still made the jokes. It just boggles my mind completely. So sorry for being caught up in the drama that was 4 years ago that didn't affect you in the freaking slightest. Excuse me. It didn't hurt you in the slightest, but it all hurt me. Sorry for that. Anyways, nothing happened my junior year because COVID happened, and I spent a lot of time with myself because, well, I wasn't going to school, obviously, and I kept my friend group very, very, very small. The people who I think enjoyed my company, at least. I actually had done a good job at figuring out when I'm tolerated and when I'm appreciated. So I think I was appreciated at that point rather than tolerated. I know there's a lot of other times where I've just been tolerated. Anyways, met a girl in senior year. that went immediately down the drain because we had two very opposing views on some subjects, and that just ended up hurting us both. And well, I think let's see, where is it? I have my little motivational lizard character here, and it says don't leave anything up to chance. And I swear, every time I deviate from that phrase, don't leave anything up to chance, something has to go wrong in my life. Because what I ended up doing was I didn't take my chance. I waited, I lost, and then I got jealous. That ends up creating a whole entire plethora of problems, because here I am being depressed, and then I got nobody to talk to, because no one else feels the same way I do. Because who deals with jealousy on a daily basis? Not very many people. So I just seem like a prick, an a-hole, basically, constantly, and that just kind of hurts. So you have to just keep it. You have to bottle it up at a point. And I think that was the moment where I was like, okay, I need a therapist, because what I ended up having to force myself to do was I had to force myself to bottle up all this emotion and just keep it in there, because no one else was willing to listen. And when people did listen, it was sort of it was like, oh, you're stupid, you're dumb, why are you acting like this? And it was just negative feedback, nothing positive. It was just insult after insult after complaining after insult. And that ended up in a ball of fire. And that was for maybe a month when I was with her. I didn't want to leave the school. I wanted to stay in state. I said, I cannot leave this. I don't want to graduate, basically. I want to skip a grade so I can just be there with them. But that life obviously had other plans. And the second that thing changed around, I was like, okay, get me out of here as soon as possible. I started rushing my classes. I started almost failing them because I just stopped caring. Not because of senioritis, but because I wanted to get out. Even more so than anyone else. Like, everyone else was like, oh, it's my senior year, I just want to be in college. I just wanted to get out of the state. I wanted to get an excuse to leave the state. Because I didn't want to, because if I were to go to different colleges, I'd be seeing people that I knew. I'd be seeing people that know my history. I mean, hell, I'm currently snapping people, and they're out here talking about my life back at home as if it's what I'm doing right now. And I'm like, have I not told you how personal this story is to me? And then you just telling everyone without my permission. Do you know how many details? I don't think you guys realize how many details. There have been so many details mixed up. Different labels put on me, different scenes changed, different emotions conveyed, different interpretations. This is basically a new folktale that I told, and that other people are just making their own story about it. And it's like, why? And I love nothing more in the world than explaining my story. I love nothing more in the world than explaining my story, because what I say is the 100% guaranteed truth, because I was the victim. I'm sorry to say it. It's weird for a guy, I understand that, but I was the victim at pretty much most of these stories. I was the one that was receiving the worser end of the day. And no one wants to hear the story, and they want to create their own little story to, take the blame off of the receiver and more onto me. And it just kind of hurts. I'm not gonna lie. So I was like, I want to go home. I want to see my parents. But then I also realized that I'm going to see these people that have been talking behind my back, who I have had terrible history with, who will almost accept me into open arms and think that, oh, I haven't seen you in months. He's probably forgotten about it. No, I haven't forgotten a single bit of it. Not even a little bit. And it's depressing, man. It honestly is. It's terrible. It's terrible. But that's probably the one thing that I'm most afraid of, is seeing these people. Because I feel like, I want to go back, because I know there are people the majority of people, I think, genuinely miss me. I've been in that culture, and I'm coming back, and all these people are like, Jared, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? When are you coming back? And after what I've seen, it's like people are like sending me stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, Jared, we miss you. And it's like, I am missed, but there are gonna be people that I don't miss gonna be there too, and it's gonna take away from the experience, basically. Like, I'm gonna walk into the band room during the winter concert. I'm gonna be speaking to these people, and there are gonna be some people that they're gonna be people that are the reasons why I'm down here out of state and gated off, and they're gonna treat it as if nothing ever happened. And I don't know what I'm gonna do, because I feel like at that point I need to put on a mask. Excuse the dream reference, but I feel like at that point I just need to put on a mask and sort of just treat it as if nothing happened. Basically please the crowd and act as if nothing happened, so it doesn't take away from the people that you actually do miss and actually are genuinely happy to see you, rather than giving attention to the people without hurting their feelings of people that I don't miss but maybe miss me. So it's crazy stuff. Finals are coming up. Gotta prepare for those. Clemson game this Saturday. But I think by and large, I can't cope with problems because the problems are caused by myself. And I'm afraid of going home because I'm afraid of seeing people that have caused me this much pain. And I don't know if that's justified. Like, I feel like that's a stupid thing, to be caught up on something that happened 4 years ago, but at the exact same time, I think it's perfectly justified. It's weird being afraid of going home, but it's not for the reasons that most people are afraid to go home. It's for the reasons that I'm gonna see. It's like going back to school and seeing your ex. Basically, you're like, oh yeah, I dated you. Nice to meet you, but I'm gonna have to go. And maybe your ex is being super nice, and you're over here, you're like, oh, thanks. You just want to get out of it. I feel like it's gonna be the same situation with me. Obviously not with an ex. I haven't dated anyone. I simply just don't have that. It's funny because I have very little self-confidence in myself, mostly because of these events. So I don't really have any quote-unquote riz, or any way of, no flirtation, no way of getting women. And it's just me being true to myself is my real only way of going around. But I don't know, I got a little hype squad going that's giving me some self-confidence, but it's sort of I guess it's very fleeting. I'm sure they meet it in the most genuine way possible, but it's it feels good in the moment, but the second you leave, it's like, we're back to this. So I think that's gonna about wrap it up. I don't think I have anything else more to get off my chest. Yeah, that's gonna be it. You guys tune in for next podcast. I'll probably record it, I don't know, maybe Friday or Sunday maybe, because that's after the game. But it's gonna be crazy stuff. I'm scared and excited to see what life brings to me. Actually, speaking about what life brings to me, in a way of coping with being away from so long, I sort of related people that I see here now with people that I knew back then. And there's this one person that I know, and she gives the energy of the girl that rejected me all the way in freshman year. Like, almost same personality, looks and everything. And that was sort of like, I don't know. It was sort of scary, because you're like, oh no, it's this person again. I sure hope they don't hate me. But they've slowly been, treating me a lot nicer and a lot kinder over the coming weeks. And I don't know, I wouldn't say it's tear-jerking, but I guess it's heartwarming, because you have this person that reminds you of someone else that treated you like absolute garbage and that you were nothing but nice to, and they're just treating you back. So it's almost if I don't know how to explain it. It's not necessarily that there was good in them after all. It's sort of like saying, it's like, oh, it wasn't my fault because I've done nothing. I don't know how to explain it. But it's seeing this person and having them remind you of them, and then them being nice, and it's like almost like them being nice. It's like getting the recognition you deserve, sort of thing. And I don't know, I love them for it. So it's nice. But I think that's the last thing I wanted to get off my chest. You guys take care. I'll see you guys sometime soon. If you haven't watched the previous episode or any other episode, you can check the playlist at the top of your screen and check them out. They're all good stuff, all good funny stuff, but these ones are just going to be solo podcasts from here on out because of, I don't have anyone to talk to because no one else wants to do this anymore. So you're just going to hear me talking from here on out. All right. Y'all take care. Cheers.